Did you know that the Olympics started in 776 BCE and they were started in Olympia, which was the city where people went to worship the king of their gods, Zeus, so they would leave him offerings and worship him there as well.
And did you know that only men could compete in the original Olympics, and they also competed naked? Most of the events were still the same as what we have in the Olympics now, but there was one event called the Pankration, which was the ultimate fight. And do you know what? It only had 2 rules. It was no biting and no eye gouging, and it was actually a fight to the death.
Oh my gosh. So me and Rosie are going to do our own version of an Olympic challenge with some chariot racing and a discus throw. And we've challenged some historians to it this week too, so keep your eye out for those videos.
Let's go.
Go! No!
I'm the winner. I won that one, but
no.
we've still got another one to go. Next up, the discus throw. Who's gonna win? 3, 2, 1.
I won. Oh no, we haven't got a tiebreak.
We draw. What can we do as a draw breaker? Shall we do a long jump?
We're going to have to do a long jump as a tiebreak, because that was in the Greek Olympics.
It was. But Katie's taller than me, so this is going to go badly wrong for me.
Okay, so we've decided you get 4 strides and then a jump.
3, 2, 1, go! Ah! Wait, stay there, stay there, stay there! We're going to mark it with frisbees. I'm a bit nervous.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, I think that means I am the winner.
We're going to crown Katie the winner of the Olympic challenge. The Little Historians Olympics, I am honoured to bestow this medal upon Lady Katie, the Olympian standard long jumper and discus thrower.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank Bettany Hughes and my mum. Watch the next videos.
And watch the Olympics. Over and out. Hello, I'm Rosie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm joined by Martin Brown, who illustrates the Horrible History books. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, hi Rosie. Yeah, I'm the illustrator of the Horrible Histories, and I've got some musical accompaniment in the background. We had our 30th anniversary last year, which is ever so slightly scary. So I've been illustrating everything that's gory and grim for quite a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I remember reading these when I was a child, so...
No, now I feel old.
So what are you doing here today at Chalk History Festival?
Well, I am talking about some Romans, and they were a pretty gruesome bunch. And then I'll be talking about drawing as well. So it's called Horrible Histories and Deadly Drawing, and it's going to be down there in the story stock tent. And it'll be great. I think it's the weather's getting better, and well, it's always fun to talk about all things nasty and bloody.
Definitely. Yeah, we're actually in the story stock tent as well, making our own magazine. So we'll be there watching.
Oh, right. Okay. No pressure.
No pressure. So on to our history questions. So who is your favourite person from history?
Do you know how hard that is, considering how long history has been? There are so many characters, the kings and queens, but the people I'd really admire are the peasants. There are battles and kings and queens making, decisions about our lives, but it's the everyday man and woman who had to live with it. So yeah, a peasant, a nameless peasant, or a woman trying to feed her family, during a war. They're the people I really admire. And we'll never know their names.
No, exactly. But maybe one day, 100 years from now, when people look back at us, they'll know our names. They'll know us,
that'd be nice.
Normals.
Yeah, normal. Just yeah.
Yeah. Who is your least favourite person from history?
Well, once again, it's a group of people. It's like all the rulers, mostly men, but not necessarily. But who had the capacity to do good stuff, but were just nasty, vicious, cruel. Cruel's a decision. You don't have to be cruel, you know? And there's lots of them, whether it's Henry VIII or Vlad the Impaler or any number of the kings and queens and warlords during the 30 Years' War. I mean, they're just horrible people. And once again, there are so many of them, they're kind of nameless. But yeah, warlords.
Warlords. It's a good one. And you've got lots of warlords featuring in Horrible Histories.
Unfortunately, there are
lots of them.
Quite a few of them, indeed.
So if you could time travel, where would you go and why?
I'd quite like to see a new castle. Because we're told that they might have been whitewashed. And they're also built for battle. They didn't just have the battlements, they'd build these special wooden roofs over them to stop the arrows coming down. And so you could step out beyond the battlements and drop things down on the attackers. So they would have looked very different. You can imagine them bright white with banners flying. You'd see them for miles. The most, you know, impressive structures for hundreds of miles, and they just would have been not crumbling grey things.
Yeah.
So the Middle Ages, but once again, you'd kind of want to be slightly well off.
Yeah.
And have maybe, could I take a modern companion?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Like a dentist?
Yeah, you could take your dentist with you. You and your dentist could go time travelling.
Yeah, I think that would be, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Maybe bring the doctor as well. Just
doctor and a dentist.
Doctor and a dentist.
Okay, yeah,
maybe some paracetamol. You'll be fine.
Yeah, some modern drugs.
Yeah.
Rather than rubbing on squashed fish eyes to cure a toothache, which was an actual Georgian cure for toothache. So.
Not one that you want to try out, no.
Well, maybe it worked, I don't know.
Well, there's only one way to find out. So lastly,
right.
how do you think you would do in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Well, they used to do that largely with no clothes on. So I'd be too embarrassed to do anything. I don't think you can run like this. I don't know. Some of it, like they used to run with flaming torches for the relays. So badly, I think, is the answer.
Yeah, I mean, so far this week I've been beaten by every historian that I've challenged to things. So I don't think I would have done well in the ancient
depends what
Greeks.
you're challenging to. We're not talking about wrestling.
No, not wrestling. Okay. No wrestling involved. Just frisbee and running. So
frisbee and running.
Not great. So we're just going to do the discus challenge. So. Let's get to it. All right.
Ready?
3, 2, 1, go. Oh. I think
mine went a bit.
I think I've been beaten by a country mile. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like ancient discus.
Yeah, exactly like it. Okay, so we've got a winner for the discus challenge, and it was Martin. Here we go.
Wow, I'm honoured. I don't think I've ever won anything for throwing anything before.
Well, there we go. It's almost like winning the ancient Greek Olympics.
It is very much
almost
like winning. I'm sure it's the same.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, it's been great fun.
And make sure to keep your eye out for the ancient Greek edition of the Little Historians magazine.
Hello, I'm Katie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm joined by...
Oh, Izzy Lawrence. Hello, I'm a children's author. I write books for short people. They are good because they're historically accurate, unlike other books which make me cross.
And what are you doing here at Chalk History Festival?
I'm here showing off, I'm shouting at people, I'm telling them all about my book City of Spies, which is about the American Revolutionary War, told from the British perspective, because George Washington was a traitor.
Terrible man.
Terrible.
So, a few history questions for you.
Oh gosh.
Who is your favourite person from history?
My favourite person from history is a lady called Edith Garrett. She is in this book. She taught the suffragettes how to do jiu-jitsu, and they beat up police officers in the street, and they actually did it, and that's why I wrote this book.
She sounds like a legend.
She's tiny as well, and she's beating up big blokes. It's really fun.
Nice, nice. And your least favourite person?
Weirdly, I think possibly my least favourite person from history is Blackbeard. I know I wrote a book about him, Blackbeard's Treasure, but he was kind of sneaky, kind of evil, and really betrayed a lot of his friends. And to find out more about him, Blackbeard's Treasure is probably the book you need to go for. It's said that he could cut a man in half with just one swipe of his sword, and do you know what? No evidence for it. None. Huh. He's a liar.
Big liar.
Beardy.
If you could time travel anywhere, where would you go and why?
I don't know. There's so many different places you go. I would go, honestly, Lake Cretaceous. I want to see a T-Rex. That is what I want to see. I want to go to North America, Lake Cretaceous, and not be eaten.
Yeah,
that's very
not be
important.
Eaten would
Don't
be
get
ideal.
eaten. Yeah.
And the last question.
Yeah.
How do you think you would do in the ancient Greek Olympics?
I'd win. I'd win in the ancient Greek Olympics. Look at me. I am so much bigger than they. They were all tiny little people. I'm huge.
Well, I think we better put that to the test.
Fine.
So we did have to just watch back the video, and we've decided it was a draw. We're going to share the win. Oh my goodness. Well, that was very mean. So I think you're going to have to cheer me up by checking out the ancient Greek edition. Hello, I'm Katie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm here with...
Bettany Hughes.
Are you having a good day so far?
It's a lovely day, although I want some ice cream. I hear there's amazing ice cream on sale. So I've been talking
yeah.
history, which is great, but I also would love some ice cream.
Yeah, it has looked amazing. So what are you doing here today at Chalk?
So I've just written a book about the 7 wonders of the ancient world. So I've been here having lovely chats with people about that, about who built the pyramids, who built the mausoleum of Halicarnassus, the Colossus of Rhodes. So I've been doing that talk with people, and now I'm just wandering around and meeting all these other lovely historians here.
Lovely, sounds good.
Yeah.
So we've got a few history questions for you.
Yeah.
So who would you say is your favourite person from history?
Well, I think it's somebody that people might not have heard of. So she's an empress called Theodora from the second Rome in the city that is now Istanbul, and she was really cool and really powerful, and she changed the world and she changed laws, and she really cared about other people, particularly about other women. So she should be a household name.
Yes, she definitely should.
Yeah.
And have you got a least favourite?
I think probably Nero. Emperor Nero.
Yeah.
I know that you know it's not an original thing to say, but he caused a lot of trouble for a lot of people, and I hate it when people have power and they use that to bully and intimidate others.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
So if you could time travel anywhere, where would you go and why?
I would go back to ancient Sparta, which was a city-state in ancient Greece, and I'd go there because the women were supposed to be really strong in ancient Sparta, but they didn't write about themselves. We hear about this from other people, so I'd like to go back and find out if that was true or not.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And so last question, because our next edition is on ancient Greece. How do you think you would do in the ancient Greek Olympics?
So I'm not quite as fit as I should be. So the running races, I would be terrible. The thing called the pankration, where people wrestled and boxed, I'd be rubbish at, because I'd sort of hate that sort of, you know, competition and intimidation and aggression. But what's good is that women used to participate in the ancient Olympics as well as men, and up until recently we thought it was only guys, and they used to compete in these separate games. So I think I would fare very well as a spectator at the Olympics, urging on these women as they were doing their amazing running.
We'll cheer on the women, but do you think we could compete in a discus toss?
Yes,
Yes, let's
why
give it a
not?
go.
Who, you know, it might be a secret talent I didn't even know I had.
Well, that was absolutely rubbish for me, so I think it's fair to say that you won.
I
Let me get
won.
your medal.
Oh, thank you.
That was a really poor show for me. There we go.
There we are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, discus winner.
Hello, I'm Katie from the Little Historians magazine, and I'm joined by Alice Loxton today. How are you doing?
Hello, hi, yeah, very excited to be here at Chalk History Festival, woo!
Yay. So what are you doing here at Chalk History?
So I'm doing all sorts of talks. I've organised lots of young historians, so up and coming future historians, to gather together and give a talk about some of their books. But mainly I'm here just to have some fun.
Of course, so it's been great fun. So the history questions. Who would you say is your favourite person from history?
So there are loads of cool people to discover from history, but one of my favourites is Mary Anning, who at a very young age discovered so many amazing fossils while she walked along the beach in her town of Lyme Regis, and she became this amazing paleontologist, all from just looking at the natural world around her.
Great. Great choice. And then your least favourite person?
Well, look, there's obviously a lot of bad people in history, but someone I'm really annoyed about still is Henry VIII, because it was during the reign of Henry VIII they tore down loads of the monasteries in this country, and those would have been some of the most beautiful buildings, the kind of cathedrals that we know today, and it's all because of him, because of the Reformation, that we don't have them with us. So I'm angry at Henry VIII. I've got beef.
Fair enough. I think at the Historians magazine we also don't like him. I think Rosie would agree with that. So then, if you could time travel anywhere, where would you go and why?
Oh, that's a great question. I would time travel. I'm a big fan of Michelangelo and his art and his work, and I would love to go and lie beside him and watch him paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling, and see how he did it, because some of it's really, really good.
Great choice. And then the last one, how do you think you'd do in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Incredibly well, for
Let's
sure.
put that to the
confident.
test.
I'm confident.
So after looking back at the footage, it was really, really close, but I think it's safe to say that you did win. So
Yes,
here's your medal.
amazing. Thank you so much.
There we
You
go.
must crown me the winner
we
of
go.
the Little Historians magazine. What is
Olympics,
this?
horse
Olympics,
race.
the horse race. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to my mum, my dad.
Thank you, and don't forget to check out the Ancient Greek edition of the magazine. Hello, I'm Katie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm with...
Hannah Watson.
So what are you doing here at Chalk?
So I'm here for two reasons. The first is that I'm here with my book The Jungle War, which is the story of the Burma campaign from the Second World War for young adventurers and kids from sort of 9 to 16, telling the story of the Second World War as fought in the East and everything that went on, and particularly the contribution of some of our amazing allies like the Gurkhas who helped win the war. So I did a talk for kiddos that was super fun. I started with asking, has anyone ever been to a jungle? And someone put up their hand and said, yes, Wimbledon Common, which was great. And then the second reason I'm here with Guidle, which is a brand new app which has launched this week, which is basically a one-stop shop for audio tours. Everyone from Tom Holland's tour of Londinium to local historian passionate about their kind of patch and neck of the woods, telling the layers of stories that are around us. And it's free to download, so that's really cool as well.
Lovely, so you've been very busy.
Very busy.
So we've got some history questions for you. So who would you say is your favourite person from history?
So I don't think he's my favourite necessarily because of his character, but I think he's so fascinating. Winston Churchill, and the case is that he appears in the Jungle War. There's kind of so many layers to his character. Obviously, he was really instrumental in the Second World War, and also just a funny man. So I live in Oxford, and you can go and visit Blenheim Palace, which is the ancestral home of the family, and you can see some pyjamas that he invented that are like a onesie that he sort of decided to wear to bed. And I just think he's a kind of a funny guy. And obviously he spanned such a huge stretch of history and was the Prime Minister of our late Queen, which is a bit mad, so he's so interesting.
Yeah, and have you got a least favourite?
Yeah, I'm going to vote for Oswald Mosley just because I think bringing fascism to Britain is not particularly, so I think probably him.
Yeah. Fair enough. And if you could time travel anywhere, where would you go and why?
I think I'd like to go back to Victorian London, to kind of South Kensington, Albertopolis, see kind of the Great Exhibition, all the kind of historical inventions that were happening, the kind of Industrial Revolution and the founding of the Victoria and Albert Museum. I just think it's a cool neck of the woods in London, and I'd like to be in the mix and seeing it all happen.
Sure, I think that would be great to see. And our last question is, how do you think you'd do in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Oh gosh, would I have been allowed to take part as a woman? I don't even know.
Technically no, but for this...
Okay, so for that, I mean, probably not. Like, I was never that good at the kind of sports day at school, so I don't know. Maybe I'd get like a trophy for taking part.
Well, we can give it a go. Should we give it a go?
Let's give it a go.
Let's go. Oh my gosh. Yay! I think you definitely won that. Well, hang on, let me get the medal. I think even without running to get them, you definitely won.
Oh
so
my
well
goodness,
done.
okay.
Thank you very much for playing.
So honoured, thank you.
And make sure you check out the Ancient Greek edition when it comes out.
Hi, I'm Rosie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm joined by
Tabitha Stanmore.
And what are you doing at Chalk today?
I am looking at that buggy because it's really cool. I am talking about magic and the history of magic.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So we're going to jump into some history questions. So firstly, who is your favourite person from history?
Oh gosh, I didn't think they were going to be hard questions. My favourite person from history is a white witch or a cunning woman who lived in the 1500s. Her name was Elizabeth, and she was a healer, and she was well known for healing people by putting a duck's bill into a person's mouth and then taking the sickness out of them by putting it into the duck.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't recommend that at home, but sounds interesting. So to lead on from that, who's your least favourite person from history?
Henry VIII.
Yes, we love that answer. We are not a fan of Henry here.
Anyone who destroys libraries does not deserve.
No. Libraries, buildings, wives.
Yeah,
no.
not cool.
Not a cool guy. So if you could travel back in time to anywhere, where would you go and why?
I would go back to the 1300s and I would go and see London develop from quite a small settlement to one of the biggest cities in Europe.
Yeah, it would be amazing just to see how different it was before that point, I think. Yeah. And our last question, how do you think you would do in the ancient Greek Olympics?
I think I could win.
Well, we're going to put it to the test, so we'll find out. Let's do it.
Well done, Nelly.
So we're going to crown the winner. So the winner was Tabitha. So here's your medal. And yeah, turns out I'm not very good at the Olympic horse racing because this is the third time I've lost. So it's getting embarrassing now. But
taking part that counts.
It's the taking part that counts. See, great message. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And make sure to look out for the next edition of the Little Historians magazine, all about ancient Greece. Bye. Hi, I'm Rosie from the Little Historians magazine, and we're going to do some quickfire questions at Chalk History Festival. So today I'm joined by Nicola. If you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing here and what do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So hi, my name's Dr. Nicola Tallis. I am a Tudor historian. I write books most of the time and I also tour, I do events, and I'm here today to talk about my new book, Young Elizabeth, Princess, Prisoner, Queen.
Amazing. So we're going to go into our quick questions. So who is your favourite person from history?
Lady Jane Grey.
Amazing. Great answer. And who is your least favourite person from history?
Hitler.
Yep, another great choice. And if you could time travel back to any point in history, where would you go and why?
Okay, I would go back to the Tower of London in the summer of 1483 to try and find out what happened to the princes in the tower.
Yep, that is a good mystery to find out about. And finally, how do you think you would fare in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Terribly. I'm not very sporty.
Well, we're going to put it to the test with our ancient Greek Olympic challenge. So let's go. So we have a winner. It was very close, but the winner today of the ancient Greek Olympics is Nicola.
Thank you so much. It's such an honour and a privilege to have won. Couldn't have done it without my trusty Speed here. So Steed even.
Have you named him?
Oh, yeah, so this is Aphrodite.
I haven't named mine yet, but a name will come to me later on and we will name him and I will be victorious. But thank you so much for joining us today and make sure to keep an eye out for the Ancient Greek edition. Bye!
Hi, it's Chris from the Little Historians magazine, and today we're going to do some quickfire history questions at Chalk History Festival. I'm joined by Tracy Borman. Tracy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Tracy Borman. I'm a historian and author, and I also work at historic royal palaces, and the Tudors are my thing.
Awesome, thank you for that. So the first question is, what are you doing today at Chalk?
So today it's a world premiere for me because I'm giving a talk that I've never given before in public, which
Awesome.
is all about secrets of the royal palaces. So some of my favourite spaces at historic royal palaces where I work. And I'm also taking part in a debate with Michael Wood about the power of the leader.
Brilliant. Great. Sounds really, really good. Who is your favourite person from history?
Elizabeth I. Easiest question. Like hands down, she's my all-time history heroine. The reason I write history, she's what gets me out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
I love her.
Might be slightly more difficult, but who's your least favourite person from history?
Oh, another royal. I would say Edward VIII. I wrote a history of the monarchy, and I just thought he was the king who abdicated, and always thought it was quite a romantic story. He gave up the throne for love. And now I think, thank goodness he did, because he would have been a disaster if he'd hung around longer. He was just not a very nice person. That's a very simplistic way of saying an awful lot, but suffice to say, he's my least favourite person.
Cool. We've all got them. Cool. So if you could go back to any point in history, where would you go and why?
Ah, I love this one. So this would be January 1536, and I'd be at the court of Henry VIII, because so much happened that changed the course of history. We have the death of Catherine of Aragon, Henry VIII's jousting accident, and then Anne Boleyn suffers her third miscarriage. And this leads to turmoil, and it leads to the end of yet another marriage for Henry VIII, and ultimately the execution of Anne Boleyn.
Sounds like an interesting month to be at the Tudor court.
Exactly.
And then the final question, completely unrelated to everything, but how do you think you would fare in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Terribly. School sports day was my worst day of the year. I would be awful.
Any event you'd want to try? If you had to?
I mean, did they do javelin then?
Yeah.
If so, probably that would be the least disastrous, unless I impaled myself in some way.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Oh, look at that. Bro, it's all about the roll.
I think I'll take the win there.
Hello, I'm Rosie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm here with
Rachel, Rachel Dowick.
And what are you doing here at Chalk Festival today?
Yeah, well, I've been invited along to I'm doing a performance really at the Spiegel tent, but it's a little bit different in that they are stories from the past, which some of them I've researched and some of them have already been researched by a man called Henry Mayhew. And then I've turned those stories into songs, and that's what I'm doing, a bit of a speech and the songs from the new album. So,
wow,
yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing that later. And now we're going to go into our history-themed questions. So, firstly, who is your favourite person from history?
Well, I suppose right at the moment it'll be Henry Mayhew, just because he was one of these people who went along and did something just because he was so passionate about it. And he went and interviewed the working class in East London during the 1850s to find their stories, because there were stories that hadn't been heard in society. So I'm always really drawn to people who have done things off their own bat. You know, he was originally commissioned by the Morning Chronicle, by a newspaper there, but the key thing is that he has, you know, managed to take that forward himself. So always drawn towards people like that in history.
Yeah, sounds fascinating. So who is your least favourite person from history?
Least favourite? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if there's in terms of a person within history, you mean?
Yeah, just anyone within history that you just think, oh, no, not them.
Well, I guess it's probably, like, if I think about New Zealand, which is where I'm originally from, for history there, it's really a lot of, not necessarily one person, but the laws that were written by men that prevented women having a voice. So it may not have been one person, but it's a situation in society that stops women from speaking, and those are the sorts of things that I, you know, push against, if you like.
Yeah, and we don't like people like that either here.
No.
So that's a great answer. If you could travel back in time, where would you go and why?
Well, I guess like before, this one is 19th century London, so East London. So I definitely want to go there. But also before that, I did one about the women who left England in the 1800s to New Zealand. And so I'd quite like to follow one of the ships through to New Zealand and the early settlers in the early part of the 1800s, because there's stories of the people who left here to try and seek a better life, if you like, not always. And those are the stories that I'd love, because they were so hard to find, of working class women particularly. This was before the Mayhew album, that I'd love to actually be able to talk to some of them in person. That would be an amazing thing to be able to do.
Yeah, and you might get some inspiration from some new songs from them as
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah, absolutely. And they can tell me if I've got the song right. Or
Yes,
not.
yeah, they might not be fans of it. They
No,
might say you've got
that's
me
right.
completely wrong.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And lastly, how do you think you would fare at the ancient Greek Olympics? Do you think you would win, or do you think you'd be terrible?
I don't think I'd be amazing. I think I'd be all right. But it's all relative, isn't it? I'd give it a go. And I think with anything, whatever challenge you get, all you can do is just give it your best.
And then you might end up coming home with a medal. You never know.
You never know. It doesn't really matter, does it? It's just
exactly
going for it and seeing what you can do,
exactly.
having a laugh.
And on that note, we're going to take on our Little Historians Ancient Greek Challenge. So we've got the winner of our Little Historians Challenge, and it's Rachel.
Oh,
so
thank you. It's the horse really that deserves the medal.
Do you want to name him?
Yeah.
Or her?
Actually, Pedro came to mind. I have no idea why.
Oh, so
Pedro.
Officially, our two horses are now named Aphrodite and Pedro. So, you know, stay tuned for more adventures from them. But yeah, we've got our winner. So
thank you very much.
Yes, and thank you for joining us today.
Hello, I'm Katie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm joined by...
Oh, I'm Guy Walters. I'm an author and historian. I live here in the Chalk Valley.
Lovely. So what are you doing here today at Chalk History Festival?
What am I doing here today is basically getting sunburnt. But I am also doing something serious. I'm talking to Fergal Sharkey, the river campaigner, former pop star, all about Britain's rivers and water supply. And so I'm going to be interviewing him on the stage. So that'll be great. That'll be a lot of fun. And then we'll probably have a few drinks.
So our questions for you is, who is your favourite person from history?
Who is my favourite person from history? Gosh, that's a good question. I don't have a favourite person from history.
Do you have a least favourite person?
I suppose the least favourite person is going to be pretty easy, because that's obviously going to be Hitler. I write lots and lots about the Third Reich, and obviously I do quite a bit of telly and documentaries, and there's always a time during the filming in which you suddenly say, you know what? Hitler was a real arse.
Yep.
You know, he wasn't a nice man. You know, I can reveal that exclusively to you guys.
Yep.
But, you know, on a serious point, the more and more that you read about it, the more repellent he becomes. So, definitely our least favourite. I might come back to a favourite one in a second. I can't.
No, that's okay. That's a good least favourite, I think.
Yeah, that works.
So, if you could time travel to anywhere, any place, where would you go and why?
Right, if I could time travel, do you know what? I think I would probably quite like to go to the Berlin Olympics, which I've written a book about, and I would love to have been in the stadium during that 2 weeks in August, and to have watched, you know, how it happened, watched Jesse Owens, you know, seen this attempt being made by the Third Reich to look like a palatable regime, and to have been and to have witnessed what it would have been like to have been in Berlin in the 30s, I think would have been fascinating. I'm sure there are more pleasant places to have ended up going in history. I mean, I could have said, you know, some sort of, you know, I won't say it. But anyway, I'm sure. But there, I think, would have been good.
Yeah, very good answer. I think I agree, maybe.
Okay, well, maybe.
But on the topic of Olympics, how do you think you'd do in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly. I'm a really keen runner.
Well,
I'm not a great sprinter, but I'm a good long distance runner. But so yeah, I think, you know, watching them, you know, 10,000 metres in Berlin would have been good. But yeah, maybe in ancient Greece. I think that my problem would have been competing naked, because I think they had to compete naked, which actually today would have been a good idea, because it is so hot today.
It is. Well,
sorry about any sweat.
No, it's fine. We won't compete naked, but I do think you're going to have to prove that you think you'd be good.
Okay, good. So what are we doing?
Let's go.
So after an intense review of the video footage, we've agreed that actually I was the winner. And I'm going to award myself the medal.
That's
Congratulations
so mean.
to me.
Well, to Jim.
Hello, I'm Rosie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm joined by Daisy Dunn, and she's going to introduce herself and tell us why she's at Chalk today.
Hi, I'm at Chalk to talk about putting women back into ancient history, or putting her back into history.
First question, who is your favourite person from history?
My favourite person is probably the man I wrote my first book on, who's Catullus, the Roman Latin love poet, just because he wrote in such an explicit, open, romantic, also can be quite spiky kind of way, so he seemed like a real person to me on the page.
Great. And who is your least favourite person from history?
Least favourite is difficult. I would say probably, I kind of have a bit of a problem with Julius Caesar. I mean, on the one hand, hailed as a great hero, but his war record is absolutely horrendous, particularly when he was in Gaul. So, unforgivable, really.
Yeah, he's a bit of a controversial character, isn't he?
Controversial.
Yeah. If you could time travel, where would you go and why?
I'd have to go back to ancient Rome just because it would make my job 1,000 times easier if I could walk around knowing exactly what was there rather than having to sit here imagining what it was like.
Yeah, and then you'd know whether your books were historically accurate or not as well.
Exactly, just get a fact checker. It would be so much easier.
Definitely. And if you were in the ancient Greek Olympics, how do you think you'd do?
I think I'd do pretty damn well, actually.
Well, we're going to put it to the test, so let's have a look. So, the results are in, and I think, unfortunately, this is my 4th loss in a row because I think Daisy is the winner. So, here's your medal. And yeah, so embarrassing for me, but thank you so much for watching, and make sure to keep your eye out for the Ancient Greek edition of the Little Historians magazine. Bye! Hello, I'm Rosie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm joined by
Kate Vigers.
And what are you doing here today at Chalk Festival?
I have been doing everything you can think of. So I'm a historian, an author and a performer. So today I have already been a secret agent. I've parachuted into World War II France. I've done a talk about an organisation in the First World War called the First Aid Nursing Yeomanry. I've been a suffragette. And then to finish off today, we're going to be doing some more World War II stuff.
Amazing. Sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a huge amount of fun, yeah.
So on to our history questions. Who is your favourite person from history?
It's really hard to choose because I love all history. I think I'd like to meet maybe Florence Nightingale, have a good chat about all of what went on there.
Yeah, definitely. I think she'd be very insightful.
I do too. I don't think she was a particularly good nurse, but she was really, really good at organisation, and I think she'd be very interesting.
And who is your least favourite person from history?
Ooh, that's a tough one, isn't it? Maybe one of the Roman emperors, like Caligula or Nero, just a bit, you know, you're not quite sure what to make of them.
Yeah, they were quite nasty people.
Yeah, they certainly give that impression.
Yeah, definitely. And if you could time travel, where would you go and why?
So I would, quite strangely actually, really like to go back to the Olympics in Berlin in the 30s. I'd really like to see the atmosphere, see all the different sports, and I think that would be really, really interesting.
Yeah, I think so. I think we actually had someone else answer that this week
as
well.
Really?
So I think there'd be a lot of time-travelling historians.
Yeah, maybe we'll be there. But yeah, all the propaganda and all the stuff going on, like bubbling away. I just think it'd be really interesting to see it, as long as I could get home safely afterwards.
Oh yeah,
that's the main thing.
Getting home safely, definitely. Yeah. So lastly, our question is, how do you think you would do in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Terribly. I'm middle-aged, I'm not very fit. Yeah, I'm terrible. I can't throw a javelin more than about 2 inches, so not very well. I'd be good in the audience if I could sit and, you know, eat olives and drink wine. That would be good.
Well, we're going to put you to the test with the Olympics, so let's see what happens.
Okay.
We have a winner of our discus challenge, and it is Kate.
Hey,
so there's your
did
medal.
all right after all. Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody who helped me train for this particular event.
Yeah. And if you want to know more about ancient Greece, then check out the next edition of the Little Historians magazine. Bye!
Hi, it's Chris from the Little Historians magazine, and we're here at Chalk History Festival doing some quick questions. I'm with George. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's George Butler. I am an illustrator, and I'm here talking about my book, which is about Ukraine.
Awesome. You've just answered my first question, which is what are you doing at Chalk? Do you want to give us a little bit more about the talk you've got coming up?
Yeah, I have spent 2.5 months drawing in Ukraine, and so lots of different things, but mostly speaking to people who are living through the war there. So writing their stories, and that's published in the book.
Awesome. We're looking forward to going to that one. Okay, a nice easy one hopefully is, who is your favourite person from history?
It's like, who would you most like to have dinner with?
Yeah.
I think Shackleton.
Okay. Yeah.
Ernest Shackleton. Just sort of between one of his big adventures to the South Pole.
Get some good stories.
Difficult not to want to sit and listen to him talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And then flip that on its head, who's your least favourite person? Who would you least want to have around for tea?
I think I'd find it difficult to share a lot of views with Napoleon, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, history's funny, isn't it? It just paints people between the good and the bad, and slightly divided. I suspect
yeah,
you can have a nice time with everyone.
Yeah, very little grey area, isn't there? Cool, so if you could go back to any period in history, where would you go and why?
If I was allowed to do my job, which is sitting on the edge of war zones and drawing, somewhere like Charge of the Light Brigade or the Battle of Hastings, to be at one of those events and be able to witness it and wonder whether it is as we tell it now, or whether it was different.
Did Harold get shot in the eye with
Did
the
he?
arrow? I'd like to
How accurate
find
is
that
the
out,
Bio
so.
Tapestry? Yeah.
Awesome.
Is the poem The Charge of the Light Brigade a realistic interpretation of what happened?
Yeah, very good answer, very good answer. And then the final question is, how do you think you would fare in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Were they chased by lions and things, or was it just like man against man?
I think it
woman
was person against person.
I think I'd be good at the running,
yeah,
and bad at the throwing.
Okay, well, it's interesting you say that because we're going to give a little bit of throwing a go.
Okay.
Awesome.
Both bad.
Oh my gosh, where did they go?
I think yours is further. Turns out we both do very badly in the Greek Olympics.
Yeah.
Yes, well, embarrassingly, there is a winner, and it's not me. So I have great pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much.
In giving you the gold medal.
Appreciate it. Oh, you're going to put it on me as well,
Yeah.
even better. Doing it properly. I like it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe, and head over to our website where you can check out our Ancient Greek edition.
Hello, I'm Katie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm joined by Francesca. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. It's been a great day so far. So what are you doing here at Chalk Festival?
I am here because I wrote a book about Margaret Cavendish, who is a 17th century, quite amazing woman. She was a very early feminist thinker, very early female philosopher, and a writer and a scientist. She kind of did everything. She's also famed for wearing really great clothes.
Fab. She sounds like a great lady. So our second question is, who would your favourite person from history be? Am I right in guessing it would be her?
So I think I'm probably contractually bound to say Margaret Cavendish, but if it were anyone else, who else would it be? That's actually such a good question, and now I'm really stuck. My mind's gone blank of any people in history at all. Probably Margaret Cavendish.
Yeah,
Let's stick with
we'll
her.
go with her. Yeah. Have you got a least favourite person?
Oh, I think because my book's set in the 17th century and it's all about the Civil War in places, I think I probably have to say Oliver Cromwell.
Yeah. Fair answer. So if you could time travel to anywhere, where would you go and why?
Ooh, I would like to go to maybe 14th century Florence, just see who was painting at the time. There are some really great paintings.
Yeah, that would be really great to see, actually.
And some pasta.
Yeah. And our last question is, how do you think you do in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Oh, quite badly, I think. Yeah, I'm not feeling very sporty today.
That's okay. We'll still put it to the test and see how you do.
Perfect.
2, 1, go!
Oh my gosh! Well, I think you won that one.
Oh wow!
I think it's fair to say that you won that, so you deserve the medal.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Do I get to keep this?
Yes, please keep it. Oh, sorry. And for everyone watching, don't forget to check out the ancient Greek edition of the magazine. Hello, I'm Katie from the Little Historians magazine, and today I'm joined by Maddie. So, what are you doing here at Chalk History Festival?
So I'm here to do a talk about my book, which is called Writing on the Wall, and it's a history of the 18th century. So think your Georgians, maybe think Bridgerton, a bit of period drama, but I'm looking at a bit of a grimier, darker side of the 18th century where people did graffiti. So we think of graffiti today as this thing that's illegal, that's potentially a bit of a naughty thing to do, but in the 18th century it was completely normal. So my book kind of traces what graffiti is left today and what graffiti we can kind of recover from the archives, and follows all the stories of the people who made it.
Wow, sounds like a big difference from today.
It absolutely is, yeah. It's got a really sort of nice contrast, but there are some forms of graffiti, so things like painting big letters, painting some rude words that, you know, actually aren't that different from today. So there's some nice sort of through lines as well.
Yeah, lovely. So who would you say is your favourite person from history? Are we thinking Georgian?
Oh, that's so tough. Do you know, I'm going to have to go with Jane Austen. I have to. Her books and all the films that are adapted from them really got me into this period. And I think it's a bit of a cliched answer, but I have to say Jane Austen.
No, great answer, I think. And have you got a least favourite person?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think my least favourite person would have to be James I, because of his book Demonology, which really contributes towards fear of witches in Britain, in England and Scotland, and it really contributed towards the witch trials of that period. So James presides over, for example, the North Berwick witch trials, and I think he stoked all these feelings of fear, and particularly fear of women, that we're still living with the consequences of that today.
Yeah, we've not had that before. I like that answer. And then if you could time travel to anywhere, where would you go and why?
So I have a real love of the island of Lindisfarne in Northumberland, which is famous for being the first place that the Vikings invaded. And as gory as it would be, I think I would love to go and see that moment of the sort of moment that the Vikings arrive on British shores, and it's the beginning of a new period of British history. So that would be it. I would keep my distance to be on the safe side, but yeah,
we'll
that's
watch from a safe distance.
Yeah, maybe a boat out at sea.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And our last one is, how do you think you would do in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Very badly. I have no coordination and I'm not sporty in any way, shape or form, so awfully, absolutely dreadfully.
Oh, well, I'm sure you won't be awful. We'll have to give it a go.
Absolutely.
2, 3, go!
So I think it's safe to say that you won, so well done. Here's your medal.
Thank you very much.
And I think you've got to cheer me up because I lost so badly, so please do check out the ancient Greek edition of the magazine.
Hi, it's Chris from the Little Historians magazine, and we're here at Chalk History Festival doing quickfire history questions with
Bethan Bide and Lucy Whitmore.
Awesome. So the first question is, what are you both doing at Chalk this week?
So we're fashion historians, and we're here to talk about our book, which is all about how Jewish Londoners shaped the way that we think about fashion.
Awesome. And who is your favourite person from history?
So my favourite person from history is probably Nyron Bevan, who's the man who founded the NHS. So thanks very much for that.
Yeah, cheers, mate. You?
Oh, it's so tricky. I think I'm going to go with a fashion designer called Otto Lucas, who was an amazing milliner. He put London in fantastic hats and he had a really fabulous life. So I think he did a lot for us.
Two great answers. So we'll flip that question on its head and we'll go with, who is your least favourite person from history?
So this is perhaps a little bit unfair because I don't know if he deserves this, but I'm going to go with another fashion designer, which is Christian Dior. So, designed beautiful clothes, but took loads of credit for other people's designs. So I don't think he was actually all that good.
Never take credit for other people's work, ever.
I'm going to keep it fashion also, keep it on theme. Another designer who does feature in our book, Ray Ravis. She was an incredibly difficult woman to get on with. She stole people's designs. She said some pretty problematic things, but you know what? She is kind of fascinating anyway.
There seems to be a theme with fashion designers taking other people's work by the sounds of it.
I think we're kind of, they're often a little bit mean. Are we allowed to say that about them?
Yeah, I mean, famously, the Ravis sisters, Ray and her sister Dora, would sort of yell at their employees if they got in the lift before them. They were stealing buttons off other people's designs so they could copy them later. You know, they really caused a bit of a ruckus.
Wasn't there some rumours that they once threw a bucket of water on someone as well? It's all sorts of...
We can't verify that, though.
That's book 2. So, if you could go back to any period in time, where would you go and why?
That is a great question. I think I might go back to 18th century London because I really love silk. I really love beautiful, beautiful silk fabrics. I might go back to Spitalfields where all the Huguenots who fled France came and they made really beautiful silk there. And I'd go and do some shopping, I think.
Cool, sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going into war. My sort of first fashion love is women's fashion in the First World War. I love what happens in that period between the two wars. They are so kind of impactful on our culture and the way we experience the world. And I just think there is something so incredibly chic about early 1930s fashion.
Are you going shopping or just have a look?
Oh, I'm 100% shopping, yes.
Yeah,
just to be clear.
There's a theme here. We're all going shopping. We're going history shopping.
Oh, but we're also going out to some of like London's jazz bars and cocktail clubs, and yeah, we're going to have a good time.
Yeah. If you're going to go, you've got to go, right? Yeah. Awesome. And then the final question, because our next edition is all about the ancient Greek Olympics, is how do you two both think you would get on in the ancient Greek Olympics?
Well, I famously have no coordination. I am very, very bad at sports. So I worry that they might end up throwing me into the sort of gladiatorial pit. I don't know. They might. I think things would end badly for me. I think I would be publicly shamed at the Olympics.
So not good then.
Not good. Not good.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a theme here again, also deeply uncoordinated. Unless they in the Greek Olympics, did they do the sort of non-sporting activities where they sort of had like arts and crafts and painting and things that came later?
Yeah.
They did. Oh, in that case, I'm golden. If there's a knitting Olympics, I'm smashing it.
Well, great news. We've got knitting needles. No, we don't, unfortunately. But we are going to give it a go and see how you both get on.
Very unhappy about having to do this, but well done, Lucy.
Genuinely the greatest sporting achievement of my life. I'm so pleased. Thank you.
Thank you very much, both of you. And make sure you head over to the Little Historians Magazine TV to watch all of our YouTube videos, and also head over to thehistoriansmagazine.com to pick up your copy of the Ancient Greek edition. Thank you.